As we move on, we'll get into the east side of things and get into a series which could be the upset special, especially if Sixers fans are upset that Embiid's warm-up doesn't turn into him playing. It is still a game-time decision. On the west side, the decision seemed to have been made by most of the media and fans. Denver, they can't take out Golden State. What can the Nuggets accomplish? We'll discuss. And in the battle of experience, talent is what always wins. So how much does it mean? It's always a question. The Warriors had to gain it in the first place, but look where they are on the list. And look way down the list.
Oh boy.
Playoff experience, 148 games. If you take Millsap out, how many would be left?
He's like
148. Right? He's got to be most of those. So we take our experienced man of the people, Dennis Scott, and had him chat with the Nuggets about this quote-unquote issue.
How excited you guys to finally be back in the mix?
Man, we're excited, man. It's been a long time since we've been here. The last 2 years, we came down to the wire with the one game, so we're excited we're finally here, ready to get to it.
Are people making too much of lack of experience coming in the playoffs where they're saying so much about the Spurs you guys may not be ready?
I think so. I think we play hard. I think we got a great home court advantage. I think we got a great team, great chemistry, and a great coach to compete. We're not worried about the experience. We just want to go out there and play.
The only way you get experience is by being there. So that's what's great about this postseason for us. You know, no one can say next year, this is your first playoffs. But, you know, we've kind of battled that all year long. We're the second youngest team in the NBA, and we never use that as an excuse, and we're not going to start using it now.
What are the things you guys just need to do well just to make sure you feel last team standing?
Same things as you needed to do well against Dallas in our last game or any game during the season. It's still basketball, still the same things. There's no magic. There's no magic plays. Everything that you did during the season is just as important now.
Win or lose a game, you got to be able to understand that next game is going to be even tougher. You know, every possession counts. It's no more of my bads. It's out there smelling blood. You know, you got to go out there, want to win every single possession that you can, so you come out with the victory.
Yeah, I expect San Antonio to be nervous. Oh, us?
Yeah.
You know what? We have so many young players. I'm sure there'll be that initial adrenaline, nerves. But I really think probably after the 2-3 minutes of getting up and down, that will subside. We'll get back to playing our game.
You heard the comments from Mike Malone and company. Very different look, though, of how these series are after, yes, a regular season bucket. Producer extraordinaire Tom Heit's currently working on the what if this shot was not made. Because you might have to talk about the changes that would be different.
Or the 30 things that would have changed.
Okay, no, I'm not doing that show. For example, if you look here on this bracket as we get into this series with the Nuggets and the Spurs, look at the bracket for Denver. We've always asked who could beat Golden State. Houston's name comes up often because of what happened last year. Well, because of that shot, they are now sitting there with Utah, and going to Utah, never easy. That's a tough matchup. And Oklahoma City ends up at the bottom, getting a Nurkic-less Portland team who they've beaten all 4 times they played this season. And Denver is now looking, and they don't have either Houston or Golden State to deal with. And I don't want to say coast. I'm not trying to say it's easy, but it's opened up some interesting, I think, things for everybody that's a fan without anything, a horse in the race like we are, because somebody's going to be in that conference final that many of us did not expect. I think most people would have 2 weeks ago, right, guys, voted, if you wrote it in without knowing, Houston, Golden State, not going to be. It could very well be Denver. So let me ask you about the experience coming back to that. They're going to play a team that has not only a coach who has a world of it, but players who have much more than they do. How much does that actually matter heading into this Spurs Nuggets?
Well, it matters some, especially when you start to add coach and Mike Malone. This is his first game as a head coach coaching the playoffs. And experience-wise, and you take Isaiah Thomas, I don't know how much he'll play, Paul Millsap. Other than that, I think you go to Plumlee and maybe Will Barton. Experience means a lot, especially when you're playing up against a Greg Popovich Spurs team. They've been there, they've done that. DeRozan's been in games, DeMarcus been in games, and it's huge because it's about the home and road situation. The Spurs who come in can get game one. That'll put a lot of pressure on any team, but more with a team that's inexperienced.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you haven't been in the playoffs, you don't understand that it's a totally different season. A lot of times, fans hear us talk about the different season. They think it's just regular basketball talk, and it's not. It's a real thing. Playoff basketball is a lot different than regular season basketball. The game slows down. People are more focused on the scouting reports. If you can't shoot in a 7-game series, they're going to give you shots for 7 straight games. It's not going to be like in the regular season where every team might adjust and play you differently. Like, no. You can't shoot. We're going to make the ball find you. So playoff basketball is very different. You have to adjust to it. And if this Denver team adjusts quickly, they can win this series. But if there's a couple of bumps in the road, or if they allow San Antonio to steal a game, that's where it becomes interesting because they don't have the experience to fall back on.
I don't want to start with you, Brendan, from a Bigs perspective, even though Jokic a little bit different than you were as a player. Slightly different skill set, right? Steve Smith?
Yeah, I could have been confused. Our games could have been confused.
Right, clearly. But his game has been confusing. We've talked about this a lot over the nights we've worked together all year. He'll take 17 shots, be demonstrative, and then have a triple-double where he scores 28. The next game he takes 2 shots. What version of Jokic, what Nikola Jokic do you need to see for them to have success here in the playoffs?
I need him just to have an impact. And whatever that is, a great player should never go into a game predetermining what his game plan is going to be. Oh, I'm going to take 30 shots tonight. Well, they might double you every time you get the ball, so you might have to be a passer. So for my thing is, long as Jokic is aggressive and he puts his stamp on the game, I'm fine with it. I don't care if he takes 17 shots. I don't care if he takes 7 shots, as long as he's causing a problem. And if he's taking 7 shots, I need it to be because they're double teaming him and he's finding teammates and his assists are up. What he cannot be is passive. He can't have lulls on the court where we don't know he's out there. Like I said, if he's not shooting the ball, it needs to be because the defense is determining that he needs to move the ball elsewhere. So I don't really care about the number of shots. That's neither here nor there. I care about impact. And he has to impact the game from the start of the series to the end.
In great tennis matches where there used to be huge serves, it would be you wait for that one break point because it just seemed easy. Right. That's this series between the home and the road splits. You've been involved in all sorts of playoff sets, Smitty. How much does the home court advantage matter? And who's got the better chance, do you think, to maybe sneak one out on the opponent's floor when you look at this series in Denver?
Well, I think it's the San Antonio Spurs. This game one is huge for so many reasons. It gives home court back to the San Antonio Spurs, but a young team without experience, it puts a lot of doubt for them. And I would. The one thing I look at Jokic that he has problems with is a athletic big. Doesn't have this in this series with LaMarcus Aldridge, and somebody's going to be physical to kind of get him out of sorts. Once he gets emotional, I think he loses his game. The one thing is LaMarcus won't be that physical with him. LaMarcus is not a runner, but Popovich will have a game plan, whether they're fronting him. He doesn't want him to have touches. He's so good with having touches. I think the one thing is they will definitely try to front him and make him have less touches so he won't be able to have his imprint on the game.
Don't you love that we're not talking about who might play who? We are actually in it.